What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. We are going to be doing a quick little oil change on the Ram today. First step, pop the hood. Yep, we're gonna do a step-by-step, so stick around. We're gonna go through everything we got. So we did a quick online order. Bruiser, get out of here, man. Quick order from AutoZone. Got some Valvoline full synthetic advanced 5W20. We got 5 quarts in the big jug, 6 and 7, and then we've got our oil filter here. Got the K&N. It is part number HP1017. Everything's super easy to order off the AutoZone website and delivered right to the door. So really cool, really easy. Let's get after it. All right, so all the tools that we should need for the job. We've got our drain pan there. We've got a pack of white rags, never a bad idea. Blue rags might be preferable here. 13 mil socket, 13 mil wrench. Thought that was interesting, didn't realize it was metric. And again, we got our Valvoline oil and our K&N filter. So we'll see if this is all we need as far as tools. We might need a filter wrench, although I don't know where mine is, so we will make it work. It's all good. I've done more with less, so let's do it. All right, so we're gonna make our way under here. We got our light blinding us. Get some better angles here. And so there's our drain plug. Again, this is a 2019 Ram 1500. This is the 5.7 liter Hemi. So we're gonna get this out, get this drained, and then figure out where the oil filter is. Trick is here to hold it in until you're ready, and then let it ride. I almost got away clean. Kind of poor design with this. It obviously is gonna like go right over all over the sway bar. So that's why we got our little rag here. We're gonna let this drain out, and then yeah, get all the stuff out. I did let the truck run for a few minutes. I am a fan of letting the truck run to kind of warm up the oil, so that way stuff can loosen up. It's kind of a little bit more difficult and a little bit more scary changing hot oil, but it does get a lot of those extra contaminants and stuff out that might be floating around in there. So never a bad idea. But yeah, we'll let this drain out. We'll get it cleaned up, clean that sway bar up, and then we'll get this plug back in there. All right, so we got everything cleaned up. We wiped down our sway bar. We've got our plug back in there, and go ahead and crank that down. We're not going super tight here, just snug, and I just give it an extra little bit there, and we should be good. Yeah, let's move on to the filter. All right, so we actually just came back up top for a minute here. We're gonna get our oil filter prepped for what we're gonna basically do and install it here in a second. We're gonna crack some fresh oil. Some people like to use used oil. Not a big deal either way. But what we're gonna do is we're just gonna dip a finger, and don't really need a whole lot. And then we're going to go ahead and just kind of smear that on. I will typically, depending on how the filter is oriented, if it's vertical and going up, I'll typically throw a little oil in the filter just to kind of get something in there. to prevent the engine from running any longer than it has to with that oil pressure. So I'll typically throw, you know, maybe a quarter of a quart in there. I think this is probably a quarter of a quart, maybe close to a third. So I'll throw a little bit in there, nothing crazy to where it's going to be difficult to install. You'll see why in a minute. You don't want to go overboard, but you at least want to, you know, lubricate that seal. That way it's going to seal nice and tight to the block once we get that cleaned off here in a few minutes. So let's go pull that off. All right, so to give you an idea of where the filter is located, there is our pan. We're going to move forward up the passenger side, right behind the steering rack. And then you can see our filter tucked up in there. Not the finest engineering as far as oil filter location, but it is what it is. This is exactly why we have the rags. I've seen some people do like this plastic Ziploc bag trick, but if you do it right, it shouldn't be too bad. So we'll get her out. All right, so I cracked it loose just with my hand. Shouldn't really need a filter and or a filter wrench. And again, this thing is not the easiest to get to, hard to see. But again, try to get the catch pan roughly in place. Hopefully this thing doesn't start spitting oil at me like crazy. Oh, it's gonna be a messy one. All right, I'm gonna turn the camera off. We'll update you in a minute. For now, I'm gonna let it drip out a little bit here. So, all right, 20 minutes later. Do not recommend changing your oil filter without the bag on it for your 2019 Ram. Super messy. I don't even know if you'll be able to see it. Those are all the rags I've gone through. It's everywhere. It's all over me. It's all over the steering rack. It's all over basically like the diff, the axle output shaft there. So I literally ran out of rags. So at this point, I'm just gonna throw the filter in. I will wipe it down after the fact. I am very well over it at this point. So we are just throwing this new filter back on there. I'll go ahead and clean it up after, but I'm just gonna toss it on to get it sealed, and then I'm gonna get back under here, get this cleaned up, because it is bad. All right, so we got everything tightened up. Again, we just went hand tight, pretty much as tight as we can go on the filter. Got everything wiped back down, and yeah, definitely won't do it like that again. You only have to mess it up once to learn, and yeah. So again, I would take a Ziploc baggie when removing your filter, throw it over it like a pretty big one, like probably a gallon size bag. You know, break it loose with your hand, and then basically unscrew it the rest of the way with the bag around it, and that's probably going to catch a good amount of the oil. So will definitely be less messy. It'll still be a little messy, but definitely not as bad. So everything is tight. I went ahead and checked our drain plug again on the oil pan, and we should be good to fill it up. All right, so definitely you know, a couple things I forgot to add to the required tools section here. Some additional rags for after you use all of your good ones. Always like to wipe off the filler here, anywhere around it. That way when you take it off, you're not letting any crap fall in there with it. And then the other thing is a funnel. Try to be like Jimmy Oaks, but let's stay clean. I got oil all over enough already. So we're gonna fill it, and pretty much, I believe it takes pretty close to 7 quarts. I'm gonna double check right now though. Ah, it still got me. I got a little aggressive on the 5 quart bottle. and it bit back. Should've just did the Jimmy Oaks. Might have served me better, but wipe her off, get our funnel out, and we'll pull the dipstick here in a few. We're gonna start the truck rather, and let it run, reset the oil life meter, and we'll check it on the dipstick, and we're almost done. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and reset the oil change light here. We're not gonna put our foot on the brake. We're just going to use the start stop button, put it into the run position. Again, foot off the brake, so it's not gonna start the truck at all. And there's our oil light. We know. So what we're gonna do here is we're going to go over to our oil. Where are we at here? Up all the way, I believe. Oh no, that's not what we want. Now I'm messing us all up. Let's find our oil. Here we go. It is in the little truck setting there. As you can see, we went a little bit long, got all the way down to 0 on our oil life. Says hold OK to reset. This is OK on the wheel here. We're gonna go ahead and hold that, and we can see that we are now reset to 100%. So we're gonna go ahead and hit that start stop button again, hold the brake down, go ahead and start the truck, let it build oil pressure. I like to let it run for about a minute and a half, and then we'll go ahead and check the oil in the dipstick. We'll go ahead and turn the engine off before we check the oil. All right, so we're gonna use our filler here, or not our filler, our dipstick, a long one. We're gonna go ahead and wipe it clean. You can see on here, might be a little hard to see, shows our section where we need to add or take away. This is a long dipstick. And you can see there we got our fresh oil. So we'll clean it off once more. And we will check it a second time, just to make sure we're good. And we got clean oil all the way up. So yeah, good to go. That's gonna be it. Thanks for watching, y'all. And if you're new to the channel, we don't do a whole lot of basic car maintenance, but I do include it. Seems like folks do like that, so I'll go ahead and like, subscribe. If you're into race car stuff, definitely stay tuned. Lots of race car stuff. But yeah, do it all as much as I can. It's not always perfect, but it is what it is. Learning as we go. Definitely not my first oil change, but you know, it gets a little messy at times, and that's okay. So until next time, hope you have a great day. Appreciate you tuning in. Like, subscribe, comment, and we'll talk to you later. See ya.